Brothers and sisters in Islam, if the sun wants to play the role of the moon and the moon wants to play the role of the sun, what happens? You have an eclipse. You have an eclipse, either a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse. What happens when the eclipse happens? The effect of the sun is weakened. The effect of the moon is weakened, and the stars are nowhere to be seen. In the home, when the father wants to be the mother and the mother wants to be the father, you know what happens? You have an eclipse. It's called a social eclipse. And when this happens, the effect of the father is not felt, the effect of the mother isn't felt, and the children suffer the most.
Peace, family.
Welcome, everybody.
Yes, indeed.
It's Thursday. Thursday.
Hope y'all had an amazing week. Hope y'all ready for the weekend.
Come on in.
Yourself a round of applause, pat on the back. You made it through.
That's right.
It is pre-Friday, and we are here again. He said, she said, love and abundance.
We in the building.
Yes, Nikki's here.
Sean is here.
Amazing as usual.
You too. Brooklyn is in the house.
Indeed.
Oh, man.
Shout out to the land. And we got an amazing episode tonight, y'all. We have February, Black History Month. Shout out to you guys for being blackity black this month.
All of you beautiful brown people.
We are spotlighting amazing content creators.
Yes, we are.
And it is our pleasure to introduce this first content creator. He's amazing. He focuses on wealth, health, and mindset. Some of my favorite things.
Me too.
You can find him everywhere social. We had the pleasure of catching up with him on Kings and Dreams, had an amazing sit down interview, chop up, and his energy, his oration, and the way he conducts. He's a true MC, a master of ceremony.
Ooh.
So let's bring him up.
I like that.
This is none other than the amazing content creator, Todd Allyn.
Welcome, brother.
Hey, thank you. Peace and blessings.
Peace and blackness.
Yes, indeed. Welcome to He Said, She Said, Love and Abundance, the content creator spotlight. Let's go ahead and give you your flowers real quick.
She said, love and abundance. It's Thursday. Let's get to it.
We have none other than the amazing Todd Allyn. Do you want to introduce yourself to these people and let them know a little about you, your channel, and what you do?
I appreciate that. And, I first off want to say I really appreciate and I'm honored to be on your show. I have so much respect for both of you. And when we met that first time on Kings and Dreams, I was so impressed with how you guys also conduct yourself, but the togetherness that you have. And I just want to say, you guys have been a blessing for me. And even though that we've only known each other for a short period of time, I am really, really honored to have met you and to continue to have and build a relationship with you. So really, thank you so much for this opportunity.
Oh, we appreciate that. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Absolutely. So, yes,
My
please.
my name is Todd Allyn. I use my first and middle name because that was when I was getting in trouble with my mother. She would always just say Todd Allyn. So, in endeavoring on this, being in this YouTube space, I use that name because I know sometimes that my content kind of gets me in trouble.
Mm.
What I focus on is I focus on mindset in developing an elite lifestyle. You can also talk about productivity and becoming better each and every day. And so my Infinite Growth TV YouTube channel is designed primarily for that, for mindset and growth and personal development. I also have another channel that I've just launched. It's called Grow Your Net Worth TV. And so in that channel, I talk about how people or what people can do in order to enhance their financial situation, to grow their net worth, and to create legacy and for themselves and for their families. And so that has been my journey these past 20 or so years. I'm an economics professor at a university level, and I've been doing that for over 2 decades. But I'm different when you talk about economics because economics in and of itself just simply means decisions. And so I say that I'm a decision scientist, a decision science content creator. And so that's what I go by, is how to help people make better choices and better decisions for themselves and for their families. I don't tell people what to think. I don't tell people what to do. I help show them how they can think and how they can change their mindset to enhance their lives for themselves and their families.
Absolutely. Amazing.
Man,
Amazing.
that's awesome.
Amazing work.
Sometimes it's hard navigating, through this society. It's not all what we expect it to be once we become adults. So, it becomes a challenge, and some of us can't find our way.
Absolutely.
So sometimes it's, to know that there's someone out there that you can reach out to or, get some knowledge from, some information. It's always a blessing. So shout out to you.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
And it all starts with mindset.
It absolutely,
I
absolutely.
think that's the most pivotal to me, is that, we can all change our trajectory. We can change our day to day. We can change anything if we, start within our mindset first and first, visualize it, see it, or whatever the case may be. But we got some questions we want to get into. Let's go ahead and do our pleasantries before we do that. Shout out to everybody that is in the chat.
Much appreciated.
Shout out to everybody checking us on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube tonight.
Yes.
Eda Man Williams is in the building. Shout out to you, sir.
Salute,
Hope
salute.
you're doing well. And it looks
Appreciate
like
you popping
we got
in.
a couple people on Facebook as well. I'll get to you guys in a little bit. But let's ask you, Mr. Allyn. Tell us about your channels. You have a few different ones. They're specific, demographic and what you cater to for each one.
Okay. Well, again, Infinite Mind Growth TV is all about the 5 bases of us as human beings, mental, physically, emotional, spiritually, and psychological. And so on that channel, you may see me doing something like jumping rope, trying to be physically fit. You will also see me doing different topics, talking about different topics around mindset, about controlling your environment, about being the best person that you can possibly be. I do that also on my TikTok channel. The TikTok channel, the YouTube channel, the Instagram channel, all try to do similar content, because no matter where someone is, I want them to be able to have positive information and to be able to grow themselves and their families. And then the new channel that I created called Grow Your Net Worth TV is just about information that I have learned over the years relative to investment management, to financial management, to financial literacy, in helping people to navigate that. All men and women are created equal until they leave the hospital, because then we ain't equal, because then we go to different environments. And so what we have to do is, and we all know that our education system is broken. So it's up to us to create content that edifies people as opposed to brainwash them. And so that's the goal of my channel. That's what my channel is all about. It's not about brainwashing. It's about telling you the truth and then letting you decide what you do with it.
Right. The more you know, the more knowledge you have, the better decisions you can make.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Let's go ahead and break the ice. And like I said, I wanted to show you in your form. So
Okay.
let's go ahead and take a look at Mr. Allyn at work, and we go from there.
Shortcut to success is called the OODA loop.
It's good
That was
advice.
amazing. I love that.
Came from this book. This is the book.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Okay. The idea, well, this book called Boyd was, he was a fighter pilot in I think it was the Vietnam War or the Korean War. It escapes me at the moment, but he was a fighter pilot. He was an ace. He was one who trained other fighter pilots. He was one that was very, very successful, because when you're a fighter pilot, one mistake, you're dead. And so the idea of OODA loop was something that he developed, that any situation that you go into, you first observe it. Then you orient yourself where you are relative to where they are. You orient your strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats relative to where your opponent or your enemy is. Then you decide, you make a decision. What happens with most people, they are where they are in their life is because they fail to make a decision. And we all know that in this world, if you don't make a decision for yourself, someone else will make it for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so it becomes important that, we as men, we act as men and we make decisions as men, so that we don't have someone else to decide what happens for our families. And then we make a decision and then we act. Actions in many instances speak louder than words, but actions are a derivative of your mindset. And so you can always tell what a person thinks, how a person is, who they are, based upon the actions that they do every single day. And so that's what OODA loop is: observe, orient, decide, and act.
Priceless. That's a gem.
It is. And I would say, to reflect, people need to pay attention to their habits.
You're absolutely right.
It's so hard to change. You are your habits. People don't realize that. So
You're
create
absolutely
good
right.
habits, healthy habits, conscious habits.
Absolutely.
So those are the habits that you're modeling and people see.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. And one of the things that we are not taught to, well, we were taught and I say we were taught because we were just from a different school. Our the people around us, we were raised by our neighborhoods.
Yes.
If my father wasn't around, then it was Mr. Rucker or Mr. Johnson across the street, or it was my Aunt Betty, or there was always somebody that was watching you. And so you learn that, what you do every single day becomes important, because the people around you made sure that you had good habits, that you had good work habits, that, when your parents told you to do something, it was reinforced not just by your parents, but it was reinforced by everybody around you. So you develop those good habits. You develop those habits of being respectful to authority. And those are the things which help us to be successful. And this is something that we can orient our own families with. So, habits are everything.
Indeed. I couldn't agree more. Shout out to everybody checking in. Knowledge and relationships in the building. Sun Soul X in the
brothers.
building.
Welcome.
All of y'all are doing well.
Mm-hmm.
This month we wanted to concentrate on amazing content creators, and we will be reaching out to all of the remaining creators that we want to work with. But this week we wanted to shine the light on Mr. Todd Allyn, particularly because I was gravitated to he reminds me of Vernon. Just the calmness under it. I don't even know him, but I know you can't rattle him. I know that. And it's just some people just have a certain demeanor with them that I can never even picture you out in the street yelling at the top of your lungs with the vein coming out the side of your neck. Some people just don't. And that's what, really, you struck me and again, the way you conducted the forum, the questions that you pulled, and how you kept everybody on topic, and having the questions and the conversation moving forward was just always admirable, in this space. So I wanted to absolutely get a couple of questions to you to see what you think about a couple of things. And they kind of got any flowers you want to give out?
I mean, I love to see, the beauty of Black men, and I like to share it, because I've heard so much negative, so much, when all I've seen a lot of that, granted, yes, but I've seen so many great Black men, single fathers, divorced fathers, striving to do their best, going through their, young years of making a lot of mistakes, but growing and learning from those mistakes. Like you said, changed behavior is the best apology. And I've seen a lot of them do that.
Indeed.
Pull up their pants, get educated, get off the street, marry, take care of their families. Like, these kids are almost 30 years old, and they were able to see that, which we weren't granted that pleasure. So I'm honored, I'm honored to share, the spotlight with, another great man. And I appreciate you, and all you gentlemen out there, y'all all appreciate it, the ones who strive to be better than the generations before us, so shout out to y'all.
Red Lipstick Vibes just pulled in.
Hey, my
sis.
sister.
Hope you're doing well.
How you doing, sis?
And Sun Soul X said, respect to the tribe. Okay, here we go. Let's ease into it. We're not gonna thrust them in, we're gonna ease them in, Mrs. Harris. Pros and cons of content creating, in your opinion, sir?
Wow. Pros and cons. Well, pros are that you can express yourself, that your content can be an expression of your inner being. And that is comforting, because your content is who you are. The cons about it is that sometimes, and a lot of us try to be perfectionists, especially when we want to be sure that we express ourselves, but we want to be sure that we express ourselves in a manner that can be understood. And that's the hardest part, because we're complex human beings. There's so many moving parts to us. So the fact that we can express ourselves is a plus. The con is trying to narrow it down to one specific item that we can focus on at a time, because there's so much to us. There's so much that we have within us that we want to bring out and we want to birth to the world. But honing it down to that particular one piece at a time becomes very, very challenging.
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah, one question leads to another question to another question.
Yeah. Exactly.
Your channel, you focus on finances, and you also spoke about your own business and going into automation. I want to play a video for you and the missus to take a look at, and we're going to unpack, okay?
Okay.
There will be fewer and fewer jobs that a robot cannot do better. What to do about mass unemployment? This is going to be a massive social challenge. And I think ultimately we will have to have some kind of universal basic income. I don't think we're going to have a choice.
Universal basic income.
Universal basic income. I think it's going to be necessary.
So it means that unemployed people will be paid across the globe.
Yeah.
Because there is no job, machine, robot is taking over.
That's simply and I want to be clear that these are not things that I think that I wish would happen. These are simply things that I think probably will happen. And if my assessment is correct and they probably will happen, then we need to say, what are we going to do about it? And I think some kind of a universal basic income is going to be necessary. Now, the output of goods and services will be extremely high. So with automation, there will come abundance. There will be almost everything will get very cheap. I think I think we'll just end up doing a universal basic income. It's going to be necessary. The harder challenge, much harder challenge, is how do people then have meaning? Like a lot of people, they derive their meaning from their employment. So if you don't have, if you're not needed, if there's not a need for your labor, how do you, what's the meaning? Do you have meaning? Do you feel useless? That's a much harder problem to deal with.
What do you think about that, sir?
I would agree with some of the things that he said, and I would disagree with others. I do agree that with artificial intelligence, robotics, that these things are and have been replacing jobs. I think especially with middle income. Now, notice that I said middle income, not middle class. And again, this is I hope I don't get too deep in the weeds with this, because this is something when I talk about economics, I get caught up in this. When we talk about capitalism in and of itself simply means change. A lot of people get caught up and think that it means, dollars and cents and all of these different things, but capitalism simply means change. For example, my computer sits on a desk. Well, where did the desk come? The desk came from the tree, because I changed the form of the tree and turned it into a desk so I can use this tree in a different format. That's capitalism. It just simply means change. Now, capital, meaning dollars, is part of capitalism, because you do need dollars in order to pay employees or pay people for their work in order for things to get done. But capitalism in and of itself is that you use resources to affect change. And so now what's happening is that automated systems, AI, computers are now coming into play, which has really disrupted the Marxist viewpoint that most people were raised with. And what do I mean by Marxist viewpoint? We were told middle class, upper class, lower class. The class system is a Marxist ideology. Now, I'm not bad-mouthing Marx, because I think that Marx had some very good ideas when it comes to social systems. But I think Marx would agree that automation was something that he was definitely against, because automation replaces the worker. And I think that Elon Musk was correct when he talked about that people find their meaning within their employment. For example, when you go to a church and you meet the pastor, he would say, "Oh, hello, I'm Pastor so-and-so." Well, pastor is a job title, right? Or you meet a professor, many of my colleagues, "Hello, I'm Professor so-and-so." That tells me what you do. That doesn't tell me who you are. Right. And so, a lot of people will, but you don't have McDonald's workers say, "Hey, I'm a fry cook." Right. Well, but people will say, "I'm chef so-and-so." So people find themselves, they identify themselves with the work that they do. They don't identify themselves with who they necessarily are. And so when we get into this automation, when we see that a person can be replaced, and it's always the next man up anyway, or the next woman up anyway. We've always been able to be replaced. We have always, but now it's an artificial entity or an artificial thing which is replacing you. I saw a video the other day where they had robots that were acting like strippers. Now, if the strip club, if they can replace that, so anything is possible. So I think it's very important. I say all that to say this. I think that it's very important that people really get a handle on who they are, because at the end of the day, they can be replaced by a machine. You see, AI took a law exam and passed. You saw an AI machine took a master's exam and passed. I've already done some studies where I would do an economics question or problem, and the AI answered it. So college professors can be replaced as well. So this is the world that we're going to, and so we really have to be mindful and cognizant of that.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Mrs., you got anything?
I mean, we watched enough movies to see that, what the future could be.
Right.
So, growing up, we always talked about that. Some things they're showing us what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because behind the scenes, science is definitely trying to figure it out, because they speak so many scientific things in these movies, a real person who deals with science would be like, man, like you said, they dig deep in some of these shows. So you can't be just saying anything,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing too. There's nothing new under the sun.
Right.
And so you talk about old movies. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this movie. It's called In Time.
Yes.
With Leonardo DiCaprio?
No, this one was with
Justin Timberlake.
Washington?
Justin Timberlake.
Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, no, I just watched that last week, right?
Yeah, you did. You
when
did.
They had the time when you pay for things with time. Yeah, I just watched that last week.
That is
and I show that in my economics class. But you know what? We do this. This is the thing. We already pay with time because money is not real.
You hear me say that on my platform.
About it. We're going to get into it. Shout out to everybody checking in. Shout out to Sean. I see Wally pulling in. Skrilla's here. World Class is here. The family is pulling in. Okay, welcome, money's not real. You guys want to elaborate? You want to elaborate on that, Mr. Allyn, please?
Yeah, I'm gonna do this because this is where is it at? This is from shameless plug from my book, The Truth About Money. Right?
Yes, coming soon.
Sweet. Go pick that up.
Yes.
So here's an example. All right, here's an example. Now I hope that people don't. I'm just using this as an example. And this is literally about $12 US. All right, this is a $100 note. It's about it's about $25 US. Okay? So this is a piece of paper, and the difference between this piece of paper and this piece of paper is the value that we place on it. It's the same thing. This has a dead person on it.
Right.
And it has a number on it that says 100.
It does.
Some serial numbers.
In our mind, we think that this is 100 pesos, or this is worth $25.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you and I will go to work for someone, and at the end of an hour, or the end of a week, or end of whatever time period, they'll say, "Hey, thanks a lot. Here you go." So what they've done is they've exchanged our life as a living human made in the image of the Most High God. They gave us a piece of paper for our time and then said, your time is only worth this piece of paper that we gave you.
Mm-hmm.
They print this all day, every day, but they don't make us anymore. We're the only one that we are. So what's the real value? Well, a lot of people will say that money's the real value or the pieces of paper are real value, but it's not, because what people want to control is you and I. They control you and I. They can control the paper.
It's true. Damn.
I'm laughing hard because I always see Chris Rock's mom in my mind, when she used to go off to work, and if anything, my husband got 2 jobs or whatever, just that mentality was like, understand what I'm saying? And I would go into jobs and I would tell them how much of an asset I was at home. So if it is a decision that needs to be made between my family and this job, I'm going to choose my family.
Right.
Because you should respect the fact that we're a family and both of us need to work to survive. So it should be some type of consideration when it comes to me needing to go to a parents teachers conference, or, the child is sick, because I'm an asset. You already know that because you see the work that I put in, so if I am calling out, it's for a reason. You know what I mean? But most of my jobs respected that I got hired, but when I needed to take those days, they respected it and it wasn't a problem. So, you got to advocate for yourself and make them aware that we understand there's a job you need me to do, but I have other responsibilities. I have other titles, like you said.
And the thing is, for you to work, say you work a job, you are basically giving them your talent. And they're exchanging dollars for your talent. So it's really an honor for them to have you work for them, because you're giving them value.
Yes, that's how I would present it too. I'm not even
You
going
are the prize. You are
kind
the
of an
prize.
asset. I'm saying I would
You
be
are
an
the
asset.
prize.
I would be an asset to your organization. Yeah.
Lady Navoa is here. She says she's checking in. Hey, Lady Navoa. Hope you're doing
Hey,
well.
love. Welcome.
You guys don't forget to put hashtag LIA25 in the chat so that you can promote your channel. Nightbot is attended and he is on the job. So you guys make him earn his money.
Please send him a coffee or Snicker.
Indeed. All right, let's go ahead and keep on easing down the road. You alluded to something earlier. You said we come from a different generation, kind of cut from a different cloth. I have a question right here. It's a different world in where you come from. Your day versus today. The differences you see.
We need a book.
whether astronomical or small nuances, you guys, I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to point anything you see out. We're going to start with you, Mr. Allyn. You are our guest.
My day versus today.
Yes.
Well, in my day, my mother could stomp a mud hole in me and walk me dry, and there was no consequences for that. There was no 976. There was no I'm calling children's services. There was none of that. You know, you better call your God. That's the only thing.
You better change your behavior.
Yeah. so that was different. I mean, you know, there was none of this back talk. There was none of this questioning. You know, if my mother said do ABC, there was none of this. Well, why? And you know, individualism was something that you can express in sports, you can express in school, but it was not something that you can express in your home where your mother or your father provided the very toilet paper that you used to wipe your behind. You had no say. There was none of this interrupting a grown folks conversation, and you had to be invited to sit at the grown folks table during Thanksgiving.
Tell about it.
So that was the difference. It was at Thanksgiving, and it was over. It was with my mother and my sister and my nephew. Just sat at the head of the table, and I almost passed out from. I'm like, what in the world? So,
Yeah.
These kids doing.
Where's the honor?
You know, having to go out and, you know, people talk about this and people giggle about it, but this was true. Going out and picking your own switch to whoop your behind.
Yeah.
You know, you know, my mother used Hot Wheels tracks.
Oh, okay. My brother talks about one of those assaults.
Yeah,
Yes,
it was real.
Yes.
It wasn't assault. It was love.
I mean, you know, they're great people. You know, you turned out to be a great person. Would you say? Like, did you, most of those times you got your butt whooped, were they deserved? Was it something that you look back and say, yeah, I kind of deserve that? Because there's some people who absolutely got it over. It was, you know.
Your Honor, I can neither confirm nor deny that, Your Honor.
I like him.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do this. Let's say I got a question for you. In 2023, is there still a Black community?
No. They're Black individuals. They're melanated individuals, but the true community, I say no because of this. You know, how long does a dollar stay in our community versus how fast does it go out of it?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's, for me, that's the true mark of community is togetherness. The true mark of community is that, you know, someone can be part of your community, but they don't have to, they may not have to look like you. Where is the heart of the person? Is the heart of the person and the heart of the community for one another? Or is the heart of, I'm going to get that bag and then I'm going to do me, right? The idea, well, I'm going to do, you do, boo, you do you, I'm going to do me. That's not community. That's individualism, right?
Yes.
And so this is the reason why I say, you know, the community, the only people that really that talk about community are, or I should say that try to exhibit community more than anyone else are politicians. Well, why? Because those politicians need your vote. And so what they'll do is they'll put you together in a group, try to get you to vote one way, but the only time that you see them is during election time when they're running a campaign. Other than that, you don't see them anymore. They give less than a damn about the community, because if they really cared about it, they would put some assets behind it. And I don't mean, you know, wearing something on your behind is an asset. I'm saying put some resources behind it, and don't let it be some resources that come from outside of you. Put your resources into it. They're willing to take money out of the community, but they don't want to put money into it. And that's that's why I say that. I wish there was, but you know, when I remember community growing up, Black community, it was I had my aunties, my uncles, my cousins, my nephews. Everybody was on the same street. We all lived next door to one another. So I
Yes.
could walk up and down the street and I knew everybody. I knew everybody and everybody knew me. And so they knew when my mother wasn't home, if I was acting a fool, they didn't have to wait till my mother took care of it. They took care of it. And then they told my mother. So
Yes.
that's what I remember about community is it was a place where you felt safe. We don't feel safe in our own community. We don't
Right.
I mean, we used to joke and say that when we go by a non-melanated person that they would hold their purse a lot tighter. Well, we get that same reaction with us.
Indeed. Damn.
Hmm.
He's right. Shit.
You're not lying.
He's not. Mrs. Harris, I'm going to pose the same strategic plan to you first. It's a different world than where you come from. I know your parents told you.
Oh, absolutely.
Back behind you come one day,
Hmm.
right?
Oh yeah, they told me.
Okay.
They told me.
What's the difference? What's going on?
It's out of control. There's no concrete definition for words anymore. There's gray lines with everything. There's no honor in family. There's no honor in being a mother.
Okay.
You know, so many things are not shown, you know, because there is a lot of Black love.
Okay.
You know, and media doesn't show any type of family, cultivating family in a nurturing, positive manner.
Okay.
We don't see any of that. That has been in non-existence over the last 25 years. There's really no heterosexual love either. So everything is just every kind of way except heterosexual. We rarely have any shows that
Okay.
really focus on that. You know, if outside of anything else, it's always including that.
Okay.
You know, the other genders,
I got
you know,
you.
being included. You know,
In addition to.
in addition to,
I'm with you.
exaggerated in. You know, no, they're taking the forefront now. So you know, yeah,
I'm gonna play a video.
the women are out of
you guys
control.
to
They was
let me
already
know.
out of control when we was growing up. I have to get that in
Oh.
there. I grew up with them, you know, so just to hear the dialect, conversation, the man hate, the man bashing, you know, I'm 46. I'll be 46 this month.
Well,
To be hearing that from 15, 16, you know, this is 30 years of the same bullshit.
ooh.
So we have to look at ourselves and what kind of frequency and demeanor and attitude and modeling, how we're behaving out here and what's happening, because it can't just be y'all.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'm glad you said that. I'm gonna play a video. Let's see if we can make sense of all of it.
Have noticed that everything now is TikTok. Right? It's like an invasive species. Every media site does the same kind of this scrolling of Instagram. I saw one of the Kardashians was like, could Instagram please go back to being Instagram where we had pictures? And even, wow, when a Kardashian can't move the needle, you know it's... And I see TikTok brain because it's... Well, you tell me what TikTok brain is, please. It's something to do with the fact that when you see something scrolling this much, you can't concentrate?
Well, TikTok is different than, say, like Netflix, in that, like, you can't dual screen TikTok. Like TikTok, if you don't get another video unless you advance the next video. And so people end up like lasered in on 1 minute experiences.
Right.
And so you end up in kind of like a compulsive cycle where it's like, you know, you're rolling the slot machine each time. What are you going to get? And it pulls you forward until you're up till 2 o'clock.
And it changes your brain. I mean, I've talked to people your age, and like sometimes just movies. And like, I can't watch a whole movie. I'm like, really? Well, first of all, the first thing they say if you mention a movie that was around before they were born, like, I wasn't born. I'm like, yeah, that's why they put them on celluloid. But okay. Aside from that, they can't watch a movie because it's sitting still for 2 hours.
Yeah, 90 minutes even.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, whatever it is, they can't. 90 seconds is kind of a stretch. Okay, so this is evidence. I mean, is this really what you're after? Is stopping this rotting of young people's brains? Because we do seem to be doing experiment on young people's brains.
Could that have something to do with the difference? We actually went out
Absolutely.
and played at the
Yes,
sketch.
ventured.
And here's what
Climb trees.
stands out to me the most. Shout out to everybody checking in. Trash Can.
Yes,
Shout out to
welcome.
Ruthless Media. My guy AR.
Welcome,
We
y'all.
come from a generation where if you missed Cosby Show, you just missed it. Like, and you couldn't get it back.
Right. You calling your friend to get the blow, blah, blow or
Right.
something.
So
They
if you
talk
missed
about it at the
Apollo,
park.
you didn't stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning.
You missed it.
You just missed it.
You missed it.
And that's the difference. They don't have an end to anything. Everything can be reacted to and retweeted forever.
Mm-hmm.
Have that.
Right.
We went out and played baseball. The baseball game ended. Game is 21. Somebody gets to 21, the game ends.
Right. Hopscotch,
Nowadays,
everything.
It will probably
Double
be
Dutch.
able to be retweeted and replayed and
Right.
reacted to until forever. So I think that's a big difference. They don't have the structure that we had, the patience, the guidelines that came with life.
Yeah, it's a direct attack on dopamine levels in the mind, in the brain, and so you're absolutely right that nothing ends. But then then I think when Mario Brothers came out, and we had Pong, and we had these competitive games and things like that. Then Donkey Kong, there was always an end to it, right? But then Mario Brothers came out and all these other different type of video games. And there was always, you can get another life, you can always get, so you can reanimate and that kind of thing.
Jumping down extra holes. I found the new hole. Did you know about the new on level 8?
Okay.
Back under the 3 tunnel. You gotta hit the leaf. It's just yes.
Well, like you said, I mean, we used to go outside and play, but when the street lights came on, we had to be on the porch.
Absolutely. We were that era.
You better be
That's
in
right.
earshot.
And in the summer, they let you rock. We were able to rock. We was in one of them neighborhoods. Y'all can be out. As long as you can hear us.
Yeah.
You hear that shout out.
He said, best description of the situation going on today is the movie Don't Be a Menace in Society, when the mom sent Trey to live with his daddy, but his daddy was a kid staying with his mama as well. God damn. That's true. He was younger than he was older than his daddy. Wow. Great chime in, Trash Can. Y'all go check that movie if y'all got some time this weekend. Let's see. Had the TV program booked to tell you what was coming on.
Yes.
And you only had till then.
We had the Sunday paper. The Sunday paper. Yes. And that was a reward, getting that big Sunday paper. What? The comics, we used to draw them and do the puzzles and stuff, horoscopes. It's a new world. We have an 8-year-old. And maybe five, we had to detox. We had to snatch away the Kindle. We had to snatch away the electronics. And it was, she was addicted. I'm not even gonna lie. And it stayed in the drawer for maybe 7, 8, 9 months. So it was kind of earned back with a lot of restrictions and, with guidelines and such. And it's respected now. There's no fits. There's no, tantrums and things like that. So, we have the power. And I think it's our laziness that keeps us doing the same things. And we don't realize how it's going to affect our children. And it's going to affect them. It's affecting them now.
Indeed.
A lot of them can't read. They don't care to. They can barely sit through a movie, like you said. So, their attention spans are really short. And they watching bull crap. Not even the TikTok, just even the senseless, things on YouTube that they do have on the kids' channel. So, be mindful.
Yeah.
All right. You got anything else before we move on?
No, you're absolutely right. That when you talk about the detox from the electronics, my kids my stepson likes to watch YouTube videos, which is another form of, it's almost like TikTok, but he watches these different things, and when they say things in English, he repeats them. but he doesn't know that the words that they're saying in English are bad words. But
Right.
he just repeats them. But words have vibrations. We all know that, and
Yes.
words they cause different changes in our personalities and all these different kind of things. And so you're absolutely right. We, as parents, we have to be mindful of it. But there's so much. It's like a fire hose that's coming on to us. It's just so much to do, so much we have to be mindful of, and this is why we need community again. This is why we need, we need those people that that are in the home or around the home that can help us to raise our children. They say it takes a village to raise a child, but I've never seen the village once I got older. What happened to the village?
Right.
Indeed.
It didn't last that long. The big mamas are gone. There's no more big mamas. Big mamas, they're on TikTok now. They're shaking in generations. I've seen it, and I mean, this is what they want to do.
Yeah, the big mamas are on OnlyFans. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Mama, get off of there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's keep in the themes. We got mamas on OnlyFans, and you are admirable as well for even considering and thinking about having mom come with you. But let's take a look at another mom. I want you guys to check this out. I got a question for you guys.
Like you don't have flaws.
You can leave.
You can get out of my wedding now. I'm not leaving. That dress you're wearing, I paid for. Get out. I'm not getting out. Try it, and I'll have you arrested. Tony, get her out of here. This is not right.
Church, this is not. Disrespect the wedding.
I'm not leaving.
Just hold your
You
peace.
show respect. You left your daughter as well.
Let's just calm down. Let's say, hey, we don't need this.
This is fine.
We don't need this.
I don't want to hear any flaws about my.
Okay. My question to you guys, we're going to start with you, Mrs. Harris. Would you marry someone, like it said in the caption, would you marry someone that didn't get along with your mom?
No.
Okay. She answered that fast.
Or if I had all types of, your mother just didn't like me, because what am I doing to you that you don't like me? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to marry into that. I don't want to have that conflict with your family because it's going to cause conflict with us because it's going to come to a point. Are you protecting me?
Okay.
What's going on here?
Right.
Like, you gonna let them talk to me like that? Or is it my behavior? Now you got to check me about my behavior towards them. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So that kind of conflict, I'm good.
Now you the referee. I'm the referee.
Right, refereeing,
I'm
and
in the middle.
that's too much battle,
It's a lot.
And when you know, it's not something that I want. So I would never marry into something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Mr. Allyn? What do you think about that? Would you?
I've made mistakes. I've made mistakes. Oh, look at that! You got the camera change. I like that. Yeah, I would say that I had made that mistake before, and I didn't realize it at the time because my mother is very noble and she holds her tongue. But when that relationship ended, she let me know, right? And so, like I said, my mother's very noble, and my mother would say something at times, but then she would hold her tongue because she was respectful for me, because she recognized that, my viewpoint is that, my mother's my mother, but this is the woman that I chose. And so my mother would accept that. But when that relationship ended, my mother let me know that, that was not something that she would have approved of. So after realizing that and having matured, I realized that if someone does not honor my mother, she could not honor me. And so that was the game changer for me. But I had to suffer in order to learn that lesson.
Sometimes we live off experience. Indeed.
I mean, and if I had a son, and I didn't like her wife, I wouldn't be at the wedding. I wouldn't be a mother to cause that, because I like you said, I fully understand he's my son until he gets a wife. He is my son until he gets a wife. He is now her husband, and his responsibility or whatever in debt to me, or I'm not first. I can't be allowed to be put there. So good luck, son.
I think it's a dilemma. I mean, just like you said, to be playing referee for a lifetime. You know, who sits in the front, who sits in the back. Again, I'm always thinking about Tuesday and Wednesday. And it's just those little battles that I'm just not gonna have the energy to do, you know, to make it 50 years with you, to, you know, go through all of the ups and downs that a relationship brings and the challenges that kids bring and in our home and finances and trying to put our family in a better position, you know, all of these things in addition to trying to keep you, you know, the woman who I love the most and my mom who I love the most as well.
Right.
It's hard. I'm not gonna, you know, walk in that minefield. One step kaboom, black suits fill the room. Shout out to Biggie. Rest in peace, Chris. We miss you, sir.
I mean,
but yeah, it's hard to navigate on that.
Yeah. I mean, and it takes me back to women and our behavior.
Okay.
We got to show some self-control. You know? We can't possess everything. You can't control every damn thing. Because we see these types of dynamics all the time. Another woman want to come in and control the raising of the child. Like, I mean, it's just, come on, y'all. It's a bit much. You know, so check yourself before you wreck yourself, because that's where we came from. You know? And it's hard. It's really hard because I don't know where it comes from. We think we right. We think we right. Who told you that? It's so much world out. It's so much world out here, y'all.
I mean, and that's a unique position for him. Again, he's at the altar. Like, this is really awkward. Can we just have the wedding? Can we just
no consideration?
And that's my thing. Again, I'm always a Tuesday, Wednesday thinker. I do not think about the anniversary. I don't think about the birthdays. I think about Tuesday when the dish is gonna be in the sink. It's just the regular day. And it's that is really nerve-wracking for me because that's my mom and you're my wife. These days are gonna coincide with each other. You two have to be able to coexist with each other. And it's just insensitive. It seems that her yelling, her and the mom getting into it at the wedding, it just, for me, if you can't make the seating chart without having to worry about who's sitting next to who,
right,
y'all shouldn't be getting married.
Shouldn't be getting married. Absolutely.
Agreed. You know, when I had proposed to my wife, one of the things I did was when I came here to Colombia is I actually spoke with my mother-in-law and I asked her, you know, for her blessing. And you know, she gave me her blessing, and it turned out that, you know, my mother-in-law taught me so much about living here in Colombia. And you know, I'm sorry that we lost her, but but the time that I spent with her was priceless, because she taught me so much in terms of how to acclimate myself living abroad, living here in Colombia. And I'll never forget it for that. I'll never forget the times where, you know, she would say that her balcony, which was the top of her house, and it was to the outside world, if you will. She said that was my second office, and she allowed me to do work there. And she would bring me coffee, and she would bring me lunch, and do all these different things. But she really let me feel welcome, and she taught me so much. And I have so much respect for her for that. But you know, but I had to, you know, but this was an opportunity as well, that by me showing respect and deference to the mother of my wife, that showed my wife that I can show respect and deference to her as well. So that I'll never forget that. I thank my grandmother. I thank my mother-in-law for that. And that comes from my grandmother too. My grandmother, she taught me so much. But it's important that, you know, as men, we have to respect where our wives come from, and wives have to respect where the husband comes from. But at the same time, when we make that choice decision, just like you said, when we make this choice that this is our husband or this is our wives, our mothers have to take the background and not be the forefront.
Absolutely. And shout out to everybody coming through. Roberto on the check-in. Shout out to you, brother. Trash Can checked in. He said, come to think about it, how you do handle a situation where when you get in a relationship with a woman with kids and have kids with her, and she treats them great, but the other father kids like garbage. I mean, you know, it's a unique dynamic that we might have to get used to, navigate through, learn how to how to get to. But what you guys were speaking about is amazing, because we had the pleasure and opportunity to have Nikki's mom stay with us. My mom is no longer with us. I lost her very young. But Nikki's mom, my mom-in-law, and I think the most pivotal thing for me and operative thing for me is not the way we get along, because we get along amazing. She is, me and her is like road dogs. We like Thelma and Louise. But besides that, is what my wife pointed out to the kids is that, you know, when mom was here, you know, for as long as she stayed with us, did you see me or daddy ever one time step out of line, push back, discontent, even though there were things that we didn't necessarily agree with?
Yep.
All of the time? We didn't necessarily fall in line with everything that she was saying, but we would never in a million years disrespect the matriarch of our family. You know what I mean? Because she deserves that respect, whether we agree, disagree, think she's right, wrong, indifferent, whatever the case may be. But again, I think this just alludes to the cloth that you guys talk about, you know, we cut from. We're able to hold our tongue, even if we don't agree with something, and get on to the next thing versus, you know, having a hotline to dial. Just
it's pot to sit on
the way things happened. What do you think, Mrs.?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, and my reflection to the girls was, see how I treat my mother. You know, she's only 17 years older than me, and I'm the baby. So I wanted them to see that, like, she's youthful. You're lucky that she's still here. Like you said, we don't have daddy's mommy. You know what I mean? So this is it. There's no extra grandmas. There's no grandpas. This is it. So to have her, you know, around us full time, you know, they were able to see that empathy, that consideration, that, you know, all of that. And she's the same. She's very reciprocated, gives a lot. You know, she's definitely a giver. So, you know, her presence here was welcome. So that I would always point that out to them. See how I treat my mother. You know, because this is how it should be. You know, there's a certain honor and respect that you should have.
Indeed.
You know, and
salute to you.
I hope I get that from them pretty much, you know. So
shout out to everybody pulling in. Shout out to L Nix. Shout out to everybody pulling in. We are having an amazing conversation with an amazing content creator. Goes by the name of Todd Allyn, everywhere social. Check him out.
Check him out.
Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe button, and notification bell so you can get all of his information. And we are just having an amazing conversation. Like I said, he focuses on health, wealth, finances, mindset, and just positiveness and positivity. You want to tell them about the literature that you have available, sir? Your latest piece of literature, which I picked up myself. I'm waiting on it for it to be.
Well, I appreciate that. The latest book that I have is the 28 Laws to an Elite Lifestyle. Let me get it for you exactly. 28 Laws for Creating an Elite Lifestyle and Infinite Growth Mindset. And this was a book that became a labor of love, because this is something that I had used in order to change my life. You know, I was 0 for 2 in the marriage department. I did not have, you know, the greatest of relationships with my daughters from a previous marriage. And so, you know, I was struggling, you know, struggling mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically, all those things. And so the thing that got me whole, if you will, was changing my mindset and changing my environment and being humble and asking the Most High for direction. And so the things that I wrote about in this book are things that I use, tools that I use to help me to create the life that I currently have and am currently growing into. And, you know, I am happier than I've ever been in my entire life. And I'm healthy, I'm strong, I'm vibrant. You know, a lot of people say, you know, we didn't know you were 60 years old. Well, you know, that's a good thing, because, you know, age is just a number. What do they say? Age is just a number, getting down ain't nothing but a thing, right?
Yes, indeed. Y'all heard what he said.
So
Yes.
Well, we appreciate you being here. On our show, we try not to remain completely intellectual and astute in conversation. Sometimes we break the monotony and we have what we call petty moments. Let's go ahead and have one of those.
All right. I could do that.
Sweet.
Right, ain't
He said, she said, petty moments. I'm going to play a video and I want to unpack with you guys about what you guys think. Let's do it.
I swear I do not understand dating anymore. These are the dozen of red roses that my date I went out with the other night for the second time picked me up and brought me. He proceeded to talk about all of our future dates, making plans with me. He invited me on a ski trip to Mammoth this weekend. It was a little bit love bombing behavior, so I was like pretty quiet and like not really engaging with it, but not necessarily like shutting it down or saying I'm not interested. We went out to dinner, we went out to ice cream, great chat, great time. He drives me home and in the car, he asks me if he can kiss me goodnight. And I say, oh no, like I'm just gonna like give you a hug, which I think is appropriate behavior for a second date when you don't know someone that well. And the boy ghosts me. I have not heard from him since. Anyways, a little bit more context in this date. I wasn't very interested in this guy. And so I think that a lot of
Shout out to him. Smart man. Smart man.
Oh man.
What do you guys think about that? She wasn't really into him though, really.
Second time around. She had to elaborate after she looked at the first video.
The reason I played it is so much was for me. That was the second date. He was a very nice guy, got flowers, went out for ice cream, great conversation, paid for dinner, invited her on the ski trip for the third date.
Seems like he's financially stable.
And, you know, you guys heard what happened since then. Mrs. Wood, let's go with you first.
They want to have a whole bunch of expectations and men can't. Because it used to be a rule, like, you know, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, right? You get the kiss, you get, you know, like something happening. But like I said, there's gray lines now. There's no way. Didn't we have this conversation the other day? Is there a way of dating now?
Right.
Like you're critiqued about everything. You guys can't do anything right. And all a woman got to do is show up pretty. That's what it seems like.
But we need to do everything right.
But y'all have to do everything right.
Picked out. We gotta have the car.
Sounds like he was doing everything right, and she still didn't even want to give him a kiss. It got to be a slob down. Can't even get a. That just tells me you're not even sexually attracted to him. Why bother? Because he had money. He had a Ferrari. Brought all them roses. Ready to take you on a ski trip. Like very indecisive. Like I don't think we really know what we want. Do we really know what we want? Because I hear a lot of women say what they don't want. I know all the red flags. Oh, wow.
Mr. Allyn.
That's just privilege there.
What do you think about that video?
Options.
Well, I think this, you know, I always say that, you know, we live in the world of commerce. And so you either pay with dollars or labor.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah, that was something. But the third date, I thought the third date was kind of universal, kind of common knowledge that by the third date, we kind of want to get a little serious, you know?
Find out where it's going at least. No, I want to hump. I don't know about the rest of these people. It's too much.
You want to
fronting? I don't know. I don't know. It must be a large percentage of women that are really not as sexual as they claim to be, or what?
But is anything wrong with a kiss on the second date?
I don't see nothing wrong with it. That's just me personally. Because if I'm going on a date with you, I must find something about you attractive.
Right.
So if the date was good, even on the first date, I wouldn't mind. I don't think something's wrong with that. Now, if he got sores and stuff on his mouth, if I can't get a nice smile and his breath is funky, you know that I might not. But, you know, I would even initiate a piece of gum to say, you know, we're going to make this night end nice. Like, so I'm confused. Women just, I don't know. And I say thank you to growing up around all the boys. They, you know, they taught me to be, you know, assertive, not aggressive, but assertive. Like, I like you. I want you to know that I like you.
Look what Trash Can said. Trash Can said TikTok got her head blown out. Can women price themselves out? Even men, can we price ourselves out of the market?
Oh, If you're putting a money value on it,
I mean, it's
you
not
have to be worth
necessarily
it.
money, but it's a price tag that comes along with me. I'm not just going to sell myself like Bolo would say.
Okay.
You can put $1 million price tag on yourself. I don't necessarily agree with it. I think the buyer dictates the price. You can put whatever price tag you want on it, but it's on me to say, are you worth it that I'm going to spend? But if people continue to price themselves high,
right,
and they're no longer realistically high, what do you think happens then, Mr. Allyn?
Well, they don't think that they have a shelf life. People don't think that they have a shelf life.
Okay.
You know, I would say, and this is going to sound bad, I think that women don't think that they have a shelf life, but men understand that they do. And this is why, because men know that this existence will end at some time. So they try to do everything that they possibly can to be able to have a legacy. Women, on the other hand, think that all they have to do is, put on some makeup and smile, but then they and have someone believe that this is the way that they look when they wake up in the morning. There's a shelf life, and we all have that. So we have to be mindful of that.
Okay. Indeed.
And I think we also carry that, I'm indisputable, nothing can happen to me.
Oh, indestructible.
Indestructible. I'm sorry.
Too. Indisputable.
That,
too.
right.
I
can't be beat. Absolutely. Right. Because
I hear you.
I say that because I think many of us, we're not taught to be very cautious and honor, the reproductive systems that we have in our wombs and our vaginas. I'm sorry. I'm going to say that because, it wouldn't be so many children in the foster care system and so many children over the years thrown in the trash. And now they're recently starting to find more children thrown in the trash, even with all the provisions provided. So we're still out here reckless, uneducated, and continuing to do the same things with our wombs and our reproductive system. So, it's a PSA. It needs to be changed. Us women really need to step up our game and give this information to our young people. It's never too early. It's never too soon. And it has to be consistent on a repetitive basis. It needs to be at least every 3 months. It really needs to be discussed because they're out here reckless and they're indecisive about what they're doing. And, it's a disaster when you decide to turn around and want to have children and have a family and your whole reproductive system is not working. It's failing you. So be more responsible. It's something that you really have to do. Get them books, dive in, because they don't even know what it looks like. They don't know what their ovaries look like. They don't know vaginas are different and clitorises are different. Even our own women. So if grown women don't know it, I know we're not teaching our daughters. So let's do a better job at that because I think they will be, more purposeful moving, and being more discreet and show more discernment because they'll know how important it is to keep it safe,
Wow.
So, thank you for that.
Someone asked me a question. Well, my wife asked me the question one day. She said, if you had to choose between, you had to save one person and it would either be your son or your wife. She said, well, who would you save? Well, I told her that I would save my son because you have to save the seed.
Okay.
And she didn't kind of like that question. She didn't like my answer, but a lot of people forget when they talk about the difference between men and women that in order for anything to bloom and blossom, that you need seed.
Indeed.
The prize. Thank you. Like I said, teaching, they don't think that. Women think that they're the prize. Our eggs are just there. You guys' sperm live for 5 days outside your body. That is a living creature. You understand what I'm saying? And if they can have artificial wombs, y'all are not going to need us, honestly. Right? We need is your seed.
I hear you. What I don't appreciate is you guys are in my bag right now. I don't appreciate but since y'all are, shout out to both of you. Since y'all are in my bag, I got a question for y'all. Is there a quote unquote prize in a relationship / marriage?
I didn't know the questions prior. I'm just saying.
Is there a prize? Can one say that they are the prize? Let's start with Mr. Allyn. Let's let.
Well, I think there is a prize, but the prize is not one individual or the other. The prize is the present. And this is why it is a prize, because it is called the present. And so when you can be in the moment, when you can be in the present with the love of your life, with mutual respect for one another, and you grow the relationship on a day-to-day basis, that is the prize. That a man can be, the man can be at peace, that a woman can be at peace, and they can grow together. To me, that's the prize, not this person or that person, but it's how we operate together in the perfect union.
I like it. I like it a lot. Mrs. Harris, save the conversation, Mrs. Harris.
I agree with him.
It's getting a little cantankerous. Save us.
Oh man.
Man, I love y'all. I love y'all.
There's a lot of bad people out there, right? So, I hear a lot of women say, men are hard to find, right? So you're gonna know a good one when you find it, right? So I think I've got the prize because you guys are not, right? You guys are not in abundance in our society. So I would say you were the prize in my eyes, because you have that seed that I want. I definitely I wanted to be a mother. I was very purposeful growing up in my mind that this is something that I want. I wanted it way before I was even supposed to, you know what I mean? So my mind was set on that. So just, and my mother set a good example. She had 3 children by the same man. They were married. It only lasted, 3 years outside of me being born. I'm the last child. So, only a few years or whatever the case may be. So I wanted the longevity. I didn't want to hustle and bustle back and forth through parenting. And, because I would have been a great co-parent with you because I would have never tried to prevent you from your children.
No doubt.
I would have been take them. Actually, I'll be the side parent. I'll be the co-parent on the side. So, yeah.
Okay. We got a couple of check-ins. Wally checked in. He says, so she would sacrifice her son, but not herself. Selfish. Why have kids if you wasn't willing to lose your life for them? It's a great point. Trash Can said, the prize is the union of what God intended.
That's
Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Trash Can.
I needed them seeds, man.
Trash Can. You're not. I don't know. Is that the real Trash Can right there with that answer?
Right.
But no, that was dope, man. Absolutely. Okay. I would agree with you guys. I think the prize is the union. I think that we absolutely, have a certain perception and depiction in the world. There are pretty women, everywhere. Pretty women, maybe not so agreeable and get alongable, but pretty, voluptuous.
Congratulations on your pretty face.
Absolutely, congratulations on your face. But here's the thing: a feminine, sugar spice and everything nice, just a pleasure to be around is not normal. Okay. And a admirable, honest, monogamous, choosing monogamy, conscious man is not normal. So again, I think you both are the prize is that union of 2 people, like he said, consciously willing to coexist with each other and know what it takes to be with another person and not just think that, my existence is enough.
I'm here. This is me.
So I would absolutely agree with you guys in that aspect. Okay.
And I thank my brothers for that. Because imagine if my father was present. Just you're so beautiful, you're so beautiful, you're so beautiful, instead of having my brother, right, princess this, and so just having them to let me know, yeah, you cute, but you ain't that cute with your crooked teeth and your skinny legs and your pencil body and your no titty self. Yeah, I mean all that, so all of those were very humbling, so I don't look at it as bullying. I don't, my brothers, they beat me up. No, thank you. Because I was just as rough on them. So I'm just saying, but the tough skin, to hear that. But again, like I said, to hear constructive criticism from him is different, and it doesn't hit well,
absolutely.
In our earlier years, so it was definitely something that needed to, I needed to adjust, but I was very aware of it.
Trash Can checked in. He said, God gave out the first gender roles. Eve did her thing while Adam named all the beasts of the earth. Wally said, if man picked a woman, then she's the prize. And if the woman accept a man, then he's the prize. What's so hard to understand?
Everybody's the
That's
prize.
right, Wally. I don't know.
That's
They need to talk to you, Wally. That's what they need to do. But let's do this. Let's not get too far off track. You know what? Let's go ahead and bring. Ooh, that's right. A goodest thing. He findeth a good thing.
A wife.
Let's get the camera angles back on track. All right. Let's get back to our regularly scheduled program. I want you guys to take a look at this video, and I want to know what you guys think about this.
AI will increasingly replace repetitive jobs, not just for blue-collar work, but a lot of white-collar work.
What sort of jobs would be lost to AI?
Basically, chauffeurs, truck drivers, anyone who does driving for a living, their jobs will be disrupted more in the 15 to 20 year time frame. And many jobs that seem a little bit complex, chef, waiter, a lot of things will become automated. We'll have automated stores, automated restaurants, and altogether in 15 years, that's going to displace about 40% of jobs in the world.
40% of jobs in the world will be displaced by technology?
I would say displaceable.
Hey, yo.
He said they coming for his job too.
Reporters too.
Reporters too. We coming for your job. Oh my goodness.
The robots coming for everybody's job, Mrs. Harris.
Yeah, the issue, the problem that I see with that. Well, I mean, I think it's true because I think
yes.
When you talk about people in population control and all these other things, I mean, it only makes sense that there's an automated world, because then there wouldn't be as many human beings in a sense, and that's what I see here and when I hear this conversation. But I did an experiment with one of the AI, and I was having a conversation with it, and I come to find that there's a lot of bias that's programmed into these AI bots. I was actually having a conversation with it regarding science and religion, and I kind of caught it, and it knew I caught it, and so it tried.
How does that conversation look?
Right.
Oh my gosh, and so we were talking about science, and it was saying that science has to be something that is proven, and I'm saying, well, if that's the case, then how do you explain religion? And it went on and tried to basically use intellectual gymnastics in that regard. But but what I've come to find is that machines or AI are all programmed by human beings.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happens is that human beings program their own bias and their own values and their beliefs into whatever system that they're promoting. And there's so much information that you all talk about it all the time, that if people would read books, there's a lot of information or a lot of books that other people just don't read. And so that information is not interwoven into their programming. And so we could literally be taught a false history about who we are, or the history of our ancestors can be totally eliminated, so that one generation hence, gone.
Yes.
Because there's so much dependency on this AI stuff.
Indeed. Trash Can checked in. He said, absolutely. Terminator was a view of the future.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
And Back to the Future.
Hoverboards
are like the skateboards. Oh, come on. Come on.
They will destroy us after they grow beyond us. Oh, Lord. X-Men, Magneto, iRobot. Good. Wait a minute. No more.
All
Amazon
the microwave second
no
foods.
More Amazon.
Come on.
Cancel Amazon tonight.
It's real.
Watch out when the cars drive themselves, then the trucks can too.
Mm-hmm.
They actually have that in Australia.
I mean, one of our greatest, movies watching as a kid, and we was kids when we watched that. They Live.
Ooh,
when they had the glasses.
Rowdy
Remember
Piper.
that?
Rowdy Piper.
I watched that not too long ago, for real, because I'm like, y'all think it's a joke. Like, look, it's programming. There's absolutely programming.
Obey.
It really is. Listen, When the kids was young and we first started allowing them to watch Disney, my husband said we got to teach them how to watch TV. And I was a little confused because, you know, we grew up, we didn't have much, you know, so when we got TV, we were absorbed in it, you know, we gonna be Batman and, you know, karate go off. After that, we breaking holes in the wall because we doing karate moves and shit, you know, but he didn't grow up like that, you know, basketball outside. So he was like, when we had these kids, we got to kind of teach them how to watch TV, you know, so while they watching Disney, I would reflect with them and show them how, you see, the parents are not important in these shows, right? There's no parents, they're absent. And if there is an adult in the view, they make them off to be stupid or irrelevant or not needed, you know, and that's not real. You know, so we would always have those conversations. That's just a view. Pay attention again to what your kids are watching and try to kind of teach them how to watch TV because there's a lot of bullshit out there and it's going right in their little simple brains and you have no clue who your children are when they're about 14, 15, 16. So
Yeah, Cat in the Hat, particularly for me. Their mother never said no. I just don't like it.
Sure. Cat in the Hat wants to go and climb the building and jump off. Well, sure, Sally.
No one's parent says yes that much. Don't ever expect
the kids used to be like, why you gotta ruin everything?
That much.
Dad.
All right.
Like, come on, Dad, tell me the truth.
I was almost triggered right there. All right.
Some fantasy land is not good for them. They really need to know the reality of the world out there.
They do. They really do. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's keep going. All right. Here we go. I got another one right here. 2023. Man. The importance of finances. We have spending power. It doesn't stay in our neighborhoods for very long, maybe 3 or 4 hours, maybe. But we do spend a lot.
Yeah.
Do you want to speak to the importance of financial knowledge, financial literacy? And if you don't have it, you know, how you can create the mindset of, you know, making it important and wanting to get it?
That's a very good question, and I appreciate it. But I'm going to answer it a little bit different. I'm going to say finances in 2023 are not important. Why do I say that? Because when we think of finances, we think outside of ourselves, and we don't put the proper importance on our productive capabilities. Because what we do is we trade hours for dollars. What we have to do is we have to recognize how powerful we are and who we are, and that our most precious ability that we have is our productive ability. And so our finances or our money increases when we are a blessing and a resource to more people. So it's not that we spend more time making more money, is that we spend more time developing ourselves and being able to provide value to other people and to more people. That's how we increase our finances. That's true financial literacy. Financial literacy is not knowing that 2 + 2 is 4 or going out and quote unquote getting a bag. Financial literacy is understanding your productive capability, producing such that you are a value to more people in the world. That's how you grow your bag.
Indeed. Amazing. Thank you for that.
You better dig deep and kiss.
All right. What I'm going to do now
into your
is
creative
I
pot.
have one more question for you, but I want to drop the link in case anybody has any specific questions that they would like to ask. We appreciate your time. We won't keep you much longer. And there it is. The link is in the chat for anybody that want to come through and ask Mr. Allyn any questions that they have or have any questions about the conversation we had so far. And the last banner that I want to put up for you and the missus, and I'm going to start with you, Mr. Allyn, and then I'm going to come to you, Mrs., is a message for modern men and modern women now in 2023. Like we said all night, they're kind of cut from a different cloth. So maybe we can kind of give them a tidbit that may start a trajectory. We know it's not going to break the wall down. We know that. They TikTok brains. But something that just might, you know, start the fire, maybe spark a flame in their brain. What would you say, sir?
God loves a working man, and inwards ain't shit.
Shit.
Hello, motherfucker.
You know, and when I say N-words, I'm using the legal term, ignorant. We can't be ignorant. We have to know who we are. We have to know who we are. So when we use the term modern, that gives the implication that we are timely, that we are in this particular realm, in this particular moment. And so old school becomes, something of a negative. But, we have to understand, and we have to know that we are all we have. And it's not the time in which we live in, it's how we live within the time, right? So, modern appliances, modern this, modern that, a lot of these things are used as distractions to take us away from who we really are and to take away our productive capability and put it in the hands of an elite few. We have to guard, as you said, we have to guard our seed. We have to guard our productive capability. We have to guard our minds. We have to guard our hearts. And that it makes us a Renaissance man in a sense, when we recognize that it's not the knowledge that gives us power, it's the application of the knowledge. And we've forgotten that as modern men.
Indeed. Well put. I follow that sentiment. I can't wait to go. You missus?
I mean, my message to the modern men is, y'all trying to have your voice, use the platforms that are given to you to, express your purposes, get there however you can. Because I see y'all growing and reflecting and you guys want better. So, they're looking for the ladies. You can find me on Sunday, Shame Sunday, and we'll discuss a little further and deeper into the bullshit that I see. But I would just say, our platform is more so just shining a light on, if there's something you want, there's something that you're going to have to give. And like you said, being productive, being intentional, knowing who you are is very important. It's very important. And I think we all need to get back to cultivating land. And you can start that in your home with just herbs and things that can grow inside the home and just a little bit of light. So, do your research, pick up a book, because those things may come in handy and be very important because these stores are getting very expensive. So, utilize that cultivating skill that we naturally, creatively have. Like it's something that's just natural, that green thumb, and if you start to do it and make it a habit, it becomes it becomes so much easier. So,
absolutely.
Especially with these young people. So get them outside, take away them damn electronics. Indeed. And if you have a child that's really having a fit because you take it away, they're addicted. Your child is addicted to the electronics. The dopamine is going off like crazy and it is very unhealthy. So you have control of that. It's an addiction. So watch, they're definitely going to go through it. So if you don't know anything about detoxing, you might want to look it up because they will go through it. Sweats, being angry, being sad, all of that. So, take control of your children and, bring honor back to being a mother.
Thank you for that. Appreciate you.
Appreciate y'all.
I agree. I agree with you guys. For me, my message would be the first thing that was told to me when I stepped on the basketball court. The worst thing in the world is wasted talent.
Oh, so true.
and like I said, they have so much potential. They have so much more than what we had. We had to actually walk to the library to get the Encyclopedia Britannica. We had to know what a thesaurus was if we wanted to know further synonyms.
We didn't have Uber and Lyft.
It was so much more, and you guys have so much more. And you're doing so much less with so much more that, it's heartbreaking to an older guy like me. And, just the modern men and women, I do know that there's absolutely great individuals, great young kids that are using, these electronical spaces and financial electronic forums for the positive.
Right.
But I'm thinking of the selfish, mindset, this entitled mindset, the lazy mindset, and just the collective of young people that we see in 2023 that think that, life should be handed to them and, have
easy.
A bunch of reasons and excuses and blame for why things aren't happening for them. Those are the young people I allude to. And again, I just say, you have so much talent, tap in.
Tap in because you got support.
Because you
right.
have it. Absolutely. And, you know, again, I want to thank you, Mr. Allyn, for joining us. This was an amazing conversation. We kept you for a little longer than we expected, but
No worries, no worries. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
let's give you some final comments. Let's give you the solo screen. You can shout your channel out and let the people know anything that you would like. Starting now.
Again, my name is Todd Allyn, also known as Professor Econ. That's just what I do. It's not who I am. My channel, Infinite Growth TV, and also Grow Your Net Worth TV on here on YouTube. But I just want to say that, you know, I'm so honored to have been a guest on your show. You know, they say iron sharpens iron, and I appreciate the fact that you guys are pushing me to become a razor's edge. And I really appreciate both of you. You guys are an example for how relationships ought to be. And I just want to say peace and blessings to you, peace and blessings to those viewers. And, you know, you guys you're just wonderful people. And I would strongly suggest that people who are watching this, if you're not familiar with this channel, tap in, because they have valuable information. They will help you be better in your relationship and be better people.
Thank you. Much appreciated. We appreciate you.
Mrs. Harris, final thoughts?
Oh man, I mean, you know, it's always great to put a spotlight on great creators. You know, people, again, young folk, you want to learn something. You want to learn how to get your mindset right to put yourself in a better financial position. You know, go on over to check out Todd Allyn and see what you can get out of there. But you got to do the work. You got to do the work. You got to be productive. You got to get your hands dirty. Nothing's just going to happen. You know, don't look for the easy way out, you know, because life is hard and it is going to be a lot of challenges, and the true character comes out when you go through those hard bumps and hurdles. So, you know, just try to think positive, and when you're down, don't stay down.
Indeed.
Don't stay down. Get your ass up.
Indeed. Indeed. The character of a man shines when you're, you know, doing something you don't want to do you don't want to do. So, you know, I think that's what defines us. I think, you know, that's when we put our best foot forward. And like I said, gentlemen, you have so much potential, you know, tap into it. Don't be afraid to stand on your square. And sometimes you're going to have to stand on an island. Sometimes it's gonna be cold over there by yourself. It is, but you gotta stay there, because you know it is what it is. We're in 2023. The community, the society, and our homes look a particular way. We got to start to lead. We got to take back our role. And with financial knowledge, with mindset knowledge, with health knowledge, you know, we can change the trajectory. We can be the change that we want to see. And Brother Allyn is that change for me. I look to him. Like I said, his channel just, you know, I see him jumping rope. I see him lifting weights. I see him reading books. I see him being who I want to be. This is, you know, and I think we can't be afraid to tell other men when we see them that we admire what they're doing. And I'm not afraid to say that, you know, I'm on board with what you do, and I will continue to be. So thank you for being you, sir. Thank you for doing what you do. And you are welcome here anytime. Doors always open.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We'd rather come in Columbia. We don't think we want you here in Baltimore.
No, I mean on the show.
I know.
On the show. We would never invite him here.
I know.
No. You stay there.
Late.
But it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure having you. You have an amazing evening.
Yes.
And we're going to call it a night too. We got an early night. We can enjoy each other. Maybe watch a movie
little
or something
movie?
like that. Yeah, let's do something.
We be finding some creepy movies, man. Lord have mercy.
Don't worry about us, y'all. We'll find something to do.
We know how to be intentional. I'm just saying.
No, it was a pleasure having you, man. You have an amazing night. And
tell the wife I said hello.
Indeed.
Will do.
Yes. And my fellow Piscean, your mommy, tell us a happy birthday.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, give a round of applause for the great content creator, my brother Todd Allyn. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Yes. Have a good night. We'll see you soon. That was awesome.
It was. Shout out to that amazing
Gentlemen
content
are great. We
creator.
coming for y'all. We gonna shine a light.
It's February, y'all. We
brothers.
shining lights on amazing content creators.
You're amazing, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate that. She made me
You're
blush.
amazing.
She made me blush a little bit right there.
Just saying.
We have a lineup this month of amazing talent and content creators that we are going to bring to you guys. It is our pleasure. Oh,
My
who's
brother's
that
in
right
the
there?
building.
Is that my brother in the building? Triple L in the building. Triple L, I'm going to drop the link. Look right here. If you want to click that link right there and come up, you sure can. If you ain't got nothing to do, I'm pretty sure you'll get me like 6 or 7 new viewers tonight.
Shout out to Trash Can Waves.
Trash Can
Let me
Waves
give my
in the
brother a little
building.
love. Cause he was
Yeah, I did. I
a
shouted him
newcomer.
out when
No,
he
I
came
know
through.
you did, but a little extra. I ain't been seeing him, for over some months. So me personally.
He's on
so.
TikTok doing his
What?
numbers. He's on TikTok doing his
Okay.
numbers. But
All
yeah,
right.
Trash Can, we miss you, bro.
Yeah,
Y'all
when
come on up. If anybody want to come up, we
you
here.
are appreciated, man.
We just gonna have
Hope
some
all
fun.
is well and everything is good on your side of town.
But yeah, we
Brother
do
Lee
miss
is
you,
in the
man.
building.
We do miss you.
Wally Wallace in
Trash
the
Can.
building.
He was up here laughing at us. He said, "Get some gold. Buy gold in the hood."
Buy gold. Oh Lord.
But yeah, it was fun tonight, to have the content creator. Like I said, we got some more coming later on in the month. And it's just good to shine a light. You know what I mean?
It
What do you think, Mrs.?
I mean, I like love. I like positivity and optimism. So, I like to keep it there. No need to fight and quarrel all the time, and live in the shit. It's like you said, a frequency, an energy, just a chakra I just don't want. It's too much. It's too much.
Indeed. Well, that was Todd Allyn, but we're gonna get messy for a little bit, right? I got you over here by yourself, but y'all show a little love to Todd Allyn. If you haven't went over and subscribed to his channel, go and hit that. Like I said, he got a lot of dope information, and don't forget to share this stream while we get everything all set up for our information. Let's go ahead and tell them to smash that like button, support the channel, and check out Todd Allyn one more time before we get back to our shenanigans.
She said, love and abundance. It's Thursday. Let's get to it.
It's Thursday. It's Thursday.
It is Thursday. He said, she said, love and abundance in the building.
No, you got something else in there.
I got some debauchery just to break the monotony. It was a good interview, though. Dope content creator.
I gotta go check out all that stuff.
Any of you other creators want to come
Change
through
my
and get
mindset.
spotlighted? You guys can. Just hit us up. Feel free. We will be more than happy to blast you off. Just let us know. Let me go ahead.
Me and Cisco be on the corner selling fruits and vegetables. Y'all best pull up.
And veggies for sale.
Have our own farmers market.
Pop up fruit. Vicky selling pop-up fruit to the community.
The bomb juices, please.
Fruit smoothies.
Need to package them suckers up.
But yeah, don't forget to like this channel and subscribe. Send it out to anybody you think may enjoy this content, because we're gonna have a little bit of fun. Shout out to everybody that is blessing us on the Cash App tip. We appreciate you. And everybody else in the chat, don't be shy. You can donate to the channel.
Oh,
we appreciate it. And shout out to everybody who has. No.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, they didn't get that much.
My
They
man.
can't get it too long. They didn't get that much. We ain't gonna get beside ourselves. But no, this is He Said, She Said, Love and Abundance. It's Thursday. Mrs. Harris, how you feeling tonight?
I am good. I'm good.
All right? Behaving yourself?
I'm trying.
Ooh.
I'm trying. It takes a lot of discipline.
That didn't sound
let me
convincing.
tell you.
That didn't sound convincing, y'all.
I am a product of my environment.
She's messy. She is messy. All right. let's go back to the wedding type of mindset. We were talking about mindset, and I pulled up the wedding from before, right?
Yeah.
You don't have flaws.
Yeah, that one.
Right. Okay. So let's stay there. Let's lean into it. Mrs. Harris, what you think about this right here? Okay. The mess. But again, a wedding where, we can't even
Supposed to
get
be about
family
love.
to get along right.
Fuck wrong with y'all?
We can't even get y'all to sit down, eat dinner, behave in a certain level of maturity. He said, yeah, ninja-ish.
I mean, to have cameras and such, because it must be a show. We don't know nothing about this, so.
Right.
And is it because the cameras are on and their representative can't be disrespected or feel disrespected, or that was just horrible.
I don't think so.
Damn.
I really think it's mindset.
It's
really this entitled nature. Again, you seen them walk inside of that house and didn't even speak to the people who are occupying the house before you. And that's just common human courtesy, that if you show up to a house and there's people that showed up before you, they already there, you say hi.
Right.
Hey, how y'all doing? We here for our sister or our whatever, and we gonna look around. But how y'all doing? Y'all all right? Place is nice, right? Again, you can do all of that extra after
I mean, and
saying
some people
hello.
move with that mindset of, if we get there, anybody say anything, you know what I mean? Because I ain't like how so-and-so did whatever the last time, and, it's always something. Y'all need to do better with yourselves. That's a reflection of you. Like, you really have to take a look into yourself. And honestly, if me and that was my sister, it would have been a problem. Like, are you the pussy in the family or something? Because nobody said nothing. You are allowing your little sister, a grown young woman, talk to your future husband's mama in that manner, like she's some street bitch and they can take it outside and fight. Right. That right there, And if your family ain't got no control, lead them out of it. Y'all doing too much, wasting money, and it probably won't even last long because your families don't even get along. It's going to cause problems between y'all.
Indeed.
And people act like they can't control themselves. That was horrible. That was so disrespectful.
I don't want to be too insensitive. I'm gonna cut the camera off while I say this. I just want to ask you, Mrs. Harris, how many men were having an altercation in that? Because I seen the whole thing. She said, somebody got up, they did a speech, and then sister went up and did a speech. I think it was mom first. Mom went up, did a speech,
and then
sister went up and did a speech, and then the aunt went up.
The aunt
and said,
speech was too long.
I thought you said it was only going to be 2 minutes. They had 2 minutes and 1 second.
Right.
And again, how many men were having this back and forth?
Women,
how many men
catty.
showed up at that door saying, "Oh, this is nice," and not speaking to the elders? How many men was a part of that?
I mean, a man can't even step in to tell the woman to calm down or, any of that. Like, if you can't control yourself. No man was jumping up. It wasn't no man quarrels. Usually it's the women. Usually. And all these reality shows, y'all act like y'all are out of control.
And it's just,
I don't think it's an act.
Yeah.
So, and if this is creating a mindset for you young women out there, man, I wish y'all luck, because you're going to snap or behave this way with the wrong person or the wrong police officer or security guard or man. And you're going to have to deal with the consequences behind that shit. It might be your life. So,
I got you. I mean, I just have one question in regards to just all of the things I've been seeing in the last, year and a half. Okay, so Kevin Samuels was wrong, right? He was wrong. Okay, him. Then
Who said? Some said
Cam Newton. He was wrong, right? And TD Jakes, he was wrong, right? Who has any legitimate gripe, constructive criticism? Whose can be taken organically? Whose can be taken and accepted as constructive criticism? I've asked 2 years ago, I tried to put it nice, saying, what sister, you know, who can hold sisters accountable?
Right,
That's
right.
not another
Damn, that was a
sister.
long time ago.
It was
We
a
still
long
talking about
time
that.
ago.
Damn, none.
And because
Not
I
even
was
Jesus
alluding
himself.
to that, no one can tell Black women anything. And not only that, if you do say something about them, they'll point out to you how insensitive you are, how, you know, mean you guys are for talking about this for so long, for pointing out how you guys are still talking about Black women. But the proof's in the pudding, number one. Number two, humans and adults can talk about whatever the hell they want to talk
That's true.
about.
That's true.
And three, it just shows you the control and superiority that they think they have.
You shouldn't
that
be
they
talking.
can just voice that you move along and you move along.
Right.
And we ain't moving along.
Nobody cares what you think.
Exactly.
This is our show.
And for the men,
talk how
you guys take as much time as you like, fellas. Take as much time.
I mean, the best
as
apology is
you
change behavior.
like,
So
'cause they don't like it. They get triggered.
And some don't care. By all means,
posts,
move the
they
fuck out of the
talk about
way.
it for days. You put up a video, they slander it for days. Nobody's right. Who's right? Who can say
Who's
anything?
wrong? Who's bad?
Not Michael Jackson, that's for sure.
Man.
But it's wait a minute. There you go. What's your Cash App?
Who?
We are glad that you no.
Oh. That's my brother.
Let's go ahead and get it up there for everybody in the back row to check it out. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Feel free to support the channel. But yeah, no, I just see the dynamic again. If we can't make a seating chart, if we can't have a weekend and that goes off without a damn hitch, no fights, no discontent, no back and forth. Yeah, we can get married. I can marry her.
I mean, but you even if not, you know, you should be the type of person to be able to de-escalate or your word, you know, just them honoring and respecting you. This is our shit. I'm the groom. This is the bride. You standing up and saying, hey, what's wrong with y'all?
God damn it.
This together. You go sit over there. If you're going to behave this way, you're not going to be able to be allowed. Like you're going to have to start treating family members, especially the younger generation, like children. This is how you're behaving. You do not disrespect no grown ass woman.
Motherfucker.
When she ain't been that. Like, y'all's behavior created that. The toxicity. You come in and you don't greet people. It's a level of manners. And if you ain't got none, grow some. Because not everybody is going to accept that shit. And when people say it's just as simple as common sense, we all know respect and manners. When you enter a room, hello. You don't even have to say how you're doing and all that extra shit. But people are just disrespectful and they don't care. And this is why families cannot grow and stay together. Because if you're cantankerous and your shit stink, I'm not staying around. Me and my family got to go. We got to roll. It's infringing on our shit way too much. When it becomes a problem, we got to roll. And y'all got to learn that. Sometimes you're going to have to uproot your damn family from that shit, you know, especially if it's causing way too many problems. Some people you got to let go in order to grow. Shit.
And I mean, I think that's the realistic part of life that we as adults don't want to see. Sometimes a person is not willing to deal with what comes with being around you.
Absolutely. Word.
And if I weigh the scale and you come out on the shorter end of it, I don't care what's going on with the specifics with you.
Right.
If you were damaged, if you got a husband, if you got my kids, there's so many different dynamics that you don't understand that my peace, my happiness, what I deem as my worth is more valuable than whatever I'm putting on the scale on the other side.
Right,
and
what you sitting on there.
And I come out on the winning side. And if I walk away from whatever that situation is, that's what that man decided. That's what I decided. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if we are willing to take that truth. Everybody say they want you to tell the truth and be honest with me, but I don't think we're willing to take that truth. I was talking to you about Neo today. Neo broke up with his wife, cheated, got a divorce. He got to pay alimony and some other stuff and all of the fees. And what I'm saying is he thought about all of that the night he seen the girl in the club. He thought about all of that stuff. And guess what? She did not come out on the other end of that. He said, yeah, I might have to pay child support and alimony and fees and lawyers and fuck that. I'm still going. Maybe it's something about her.
Well, we don't never consider that.
$1.5 million. I'm willing to pay $1.5 million to get the hell away from you. And some people don't like to accept that truth, that honesty.
I just don't like you like that. No.
Oh, he cheated. Yeah, he cheated. He did. In 2023, with a man knowing what's at stake, if you cheat and get caught and gotta go through a divorce, she can take all of your stuff, and he still did that. You know why? Because she wasn't worth him not doing it.
I mean, it's a conscious choice. Right.
Sometimes the brush just get painted with he's a cheater. He's a cheater. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did cheat. Maybe because he didn't think you were worth being loyal to.
Mm-hmm. Just because somebody chooses to be your wife and they got your kids don't mean they doing the best of their ability to, acquiesce to you or give you the things you need. Some people in relationships where it's all about me. Indeed. If I'm not happy, I got the role. I don't care what you need. And you can say that. You're not doing this to me. You're not doing it. Well, I need this. Well, I don't care what you need. Wow. Okay. Yeah, we do it.
Freaky Ty said, real talk. Females in my family.
Your ass ain't worthy. I mean, it is what it is. And it's hard to hear. It's hard to go through that. And, but it is what it is.
Beating this one to check
the fuck.
Peace to my guy.
I say when you got him and you say yes to that ring, I'm sorry. When you say yes to that ring, man, you better do whatever you need to do in that power to make sure that shit stay together. We put so much blame and excuses on the other person.
We do.
And I never really hear a woman really reflect on her own shit. Well, I could have did this, well, I could have did that. I behaved in this way and that might not have rubbed him the right way. We just couldn't get back on track from that or whatever the case may be. It's always him. Just everything is him. He didn't know how to talk to me. He just didn't help around the house. He didn't do this. He didn't appreciate me. He. The fuck? I don't believe it. Cap.
I'm aware that I'm not a man and I will never be a man. However, I'm not willing to debate what I'm about to say. So I low-key feel like now that I've healed and I look at relationships differently, men get the short end of the stick because you're not allowed to be sensitive, but how dare you not talk to me about how you feeling? Don't be emotionally constipated, but if you tell me too much how you really feeling, then I don't believe that you're man enough for me. I don't want you to be this superhuman all the time, but you can't take that S off your chest. Do not sit the world down off of your shoulders around me because I'm not willing to pick it up and help shoulder it. Like, you can't have boundaries. You can't have standards. You can't require a woman bring something to the table that you set before she was even in the picture. You're not allowed to have a broken heart. You're not allowed to be afraid of love. You're not allowed to have walls. You're not allowed to be vulnerable. There are so many things that the world will not allow you to do, but they also expect you to do the same thing. You know what I mean? The world would have you to believe that you're...
She was going to keep going.
Yeah, I do that sometimes, but it's true. It's a lot of double standards, and we enjoy the ones and we relish in the ones that favor us because there's a lot. But I hear women are just not treated so fairly, which is so oppressed and all this bullshit. Okay. But I can appreciate what the sister said because it's true.
I do too.
It
stood out to me. Let's keep going. Let's lean in. We ain't gonna be here for a long time, but a good time. So let's do this.
And what I want us to do as Black women is to take a good, hard look at ourselves. What we like to do all the time is quote Malcolm X. The most disrespected person in America is the Black woman. Malcolm was talking about a different caliber of woman. The women that we see today are not the women that Malcolm actually was trying to take up for. Women today, nobody disrespects us more as Black women than we disrespect ourselves. I would never see my grandma with her ass turned to the camera twerking for Instagram. Never. I would never see my grandma dragging my granddaddy like he was nothing. But today, We're a different kind of woman. And until we decide to be honest and take a hard look at ourselves and be real for real, since we like to say it all the time, I keep it 100, keep it 100. We are a different type of woman. Modern women are not the same, and it is not a benefit to the next generations coming behind us.
I approve that message. Thank you, sister.
Bless her heart. Keep her safe.
My grandmother would probably pull out a belt. Somebody do some twerking. Yeah, no, yeah, I agree. You know, it's a different. Y'all are not those women. Absolutely not. And again, I put the fault on us. It's our responsibility to teach these young girls who they are, what it means to be who they are, and that's teaching them about their body, their reproductive system, how this world works, how to plant and cultivate seeds, what it means to be a woman, what it means to be a mother and a wife. Like, these things are important. And if that's the road they want to take, then we're here to nourish that. And if you want to take another road, then, you know, hopefully you be on your purpose and find that road, you know. But these kids have no clue. They're very fucking decisive. And even grown people, mad women, we just quite indecisive. Stand on your square. Find a damn square to stand on too, and stick to it. You know, a lot of women do get in these marriages, and then after a while, I'm bored and I'm sad and I'm not happy, so I don't want this no more. Yep. You got to be intentional. Yep. So I don't know if y'all even got into it with the right intentions or purpose. You know, because we start getting jaded when we don't get what we want and think it's the man's fault. It's all your fault because you didn't make me happy and you didn't work hard and you didn't get 2 jobs and you didn't wash the dishes and you didn't come. Oh my God. What the fuck are you doing? That's what I hear. I'm just saying.
True indeed. Shout out to everybody checking in. Sis said, So Steady said bars. True indeed. Triple L, yep, we did. We got a cash app from Triple
Somebody
L.
else wants
Shout out to Triple L for the cash app. We appreciate you, bro.
Thank you.
No.
Cash app was
I like
nice
him.
too, so
I like
nice
him.
I could play it twice.
No.
Shout out to you, man. Shout out to everybody checking in. Shout out to everybody that support us, man. It inspires us to keep moving.
Much appreciated.
Keep pushing this content out. Today we had a content creators spotlight. We had Tar Allyn in the building with us. He's amazing with a health, wealth, and positive mindset. And you guys feel free to go over to him and hit that button. And feel free to reach out to us if you want to be, you know, shined on the spotlight, because we got enough time and enough room for each and every last one of y'all. We got a nice calendar with some amazing content creators coming in the future. And I got one more video to play. Mrs. Harris, you got anything before we roll up?
Let's go. Hope it ain't emotional. Don't be yelling at nobody. Sorry.
You know I saved the best for last, and I'm leaning in. We just started on a trajectory with the women's. I'm gonna stay right there, because they probably in the chat or in the clouds like, y'all still talking about women's? Y'all
to the conclusion that I think women are just pure evil. Like, I really think women are just pure evil. Women are naturally evil beings, I believe. And only a woman who's honest about our natural nature of being deceptive can change it. Like, for example, I know that naturally there's a selfish, gimme, I want that type of way about me. So, about people, period, but especially women. So if you can't be honest and say that that's in there, then you can't deal with it and address it. And so I've noticed that the women who say they're the dopest, they're the this, they're the that, are usually the worst, because you have to acknowledge the beast in you in order to tame it. And so I really just think most women are naturally evil, period. I just think they're evil. And not even just how they deal with men and kids makes them evil, but how they deal with each other. Women are so jealous. deceptive, conniving. Like you can just feel the evil when you are in the presence of certain women. You can walk in a room and you just feel the daggers. You just feel that demonic spirit. Women are evil. I don't care what nobody say. Women are untrustworthy, deceitful, demonic beings. I said what I said.
She said what she said.
She said what she said. That's why I probably got saved about 7 times before I was 20.
She said what she said. And you know, that was a woman. And again, I see so many women that have so many things to say. You cannot tell me that they off too after you tell me Kevin Samuels was wrong, Cam Newton was wrong, TD Jakes was wrong, so on and so forth. Every man that comes up got something to say, constructive criticism or not. Why you talk about black women? Your mama black. Women, from Courtney Michelle to you to Red to the one we just played to, I could play one every day.
Yes.
We got I play one of a whole bunch of snow bunnies talking. Very remorseful.
Yes.
I got the little girl that said girls is like kids in a candy store. They always want more. They always want something. You can never please them. And again, I could just go down the rabbit hole of women. They wrong too?
No. I know many women that don't trust women. Rightfully so. Like she said, a self-reflection of herself, of knowing that, there's some deceitful things. There's some behaviors that I can absolutely do. It has to be a conscious choice to not. I know, what did I say? That femininity, I can kill it. I can delete a nation with the femininity alone. Conspire. Go right in the club and conspire and get a nigga with the femininity. Just that simple. Simply.
Truth just checked in. What up, Truth?
And you ain't got to be a simple man to get got.
This is funny seeing this after what just happened. Okay, what happened, man? I hope everything is well. Hope you keeping your head up. You're almost to the weekend, so whatever it is, you almost through. Life is crazy. It is crazy.
Which is amazing. But I mean, I don't think women listen to what the woman said, because I'm like, well, I'm not like that. I'm not like that. The woman is specifically saying, I'm reflecting on myself.
Right. You gotta.
So it's something I see, and I'm old enough to have encountered enough women, including my mama, my auntie, my grandma's, to know that we have the capability. We're human beings, so it's a conscious choice. But I see us being, shout out to that sister.
And you can't unsee it.
You can't unsee it. I'm sorry.
Like she said, just the back and forth, the discourse, and not only with men, but with other women. You can't tell me everybody's lying. And again, you can try to mask it, disguise it with all of your cantankerousness, with your loud talking, with your back and forth, your neck rolling, your over talking, your disrespecting men,
insults,
instigation, insulting, sign language. Like they use all of the tactics and then say they're not of that spirit. I'm not of that spirit.
Yeah, right.
I would never do that.
Right.
I'm not
so
into
pure.
That. But here's what I'm gonna do. I'll create an atmosphere that you guys can come do whatever you want to do. And it's that to me that I see the insensitivity and the incongruence of one's, articulation versus how they actually carry themselves out. And in all honesty, being almost 50 years old, to say I've dated women and all of them is like, I don't really hang around a lot of women. Now, I don't know if that's a tactic that they use.
Right.
But when I met you, it was the same thing. I really don't, I don't have a lot of girlfriends. I hang around guys and yah. And I'm like, well, okay. And it all started to line up. But at the same time, why girls don't hang with girls, but then expect boys to be able to get along with girls? Girls don't even get along with other girls.
I mean,
they expect boys to get along.
I mean, I would say this, just earlier years, when you start coming up, you're close with your girlfriends, man. You got your girlfriends, your besties and all that, and you get a man that's the end of your friend. Focused on that man, that boy, not even a man. We're talking 13, 14. Your time and attention is elsewhere. That's a problem, whether you're envious of it, jealous, whatever. Your friend is not around no more. So to some degree, of course, that's going to cause, a reflection. And then what if that boyfriend is gone in 3 months? Now you all up in my face and want to be my friend. So it's some jadedness sitting back there, right? You understand what I'm saying? So I think sometimes it may start with that cattiness of that, or it might be the boy that right? Money or boys, just like with y'all, money or pussy.
So, I mean, that's
in
human.
A sense, it may be that.
So Steady checked in. He said femininity amongst women is one of the most underrated and or overlooked things at this time. And I would agree. Again, just looking at it from the de-escalation standpoint, looking at it from the maturity standpoint. Let's backtrack. Maybe we got off on the wrong foot. Can we start over? I don't hear any. Like I said, remorse is something I don't see, and especially in our women.
And that's a man's way of moving. Women would be simply, did I offend you? That's how it was back in the day. If someone felt some kind of way.
I hear what you're saying, but they would be like, "Oh, you offended? I'm sorry, I offended you.
Right,
I'm sorry
I'm saying
you get offended
in another
over
day,
stuff like that."
Right. In another day, that's how a feminine woman would handle a type of situation versus how we handle it now. We ready to fight like men, bitch. What you say?
Right.
You talking to me?
But I've never seen that level of maturity where again, it's like maybe we got off on the wrong foot. It's like you get offended by stuff like that. Who you be around? It's like this is the aura of women. I went to high school. It was a very combative high school. Martin Luther King High School in New York City was very combative. The girls they were not scared of each other. It was what?
Yeah.
And it'd get popping with the Vaseline and the hair pulled back quick. So times have absolutely changed, but even then it was a dynamic of I don't hang around a lot of girls because of that fact right there. We gonna get it popping.
It's always something.
It's gonna be something, yeah. Some personalities are going to clash. Right. And I don't know if that's because accountability was a thing, because we were only in high school.
Oh, yes. That's why I say it's a different time, because like I said, I didn't have a lot of friends, and the friends I did have from junior high school is still the same friends. So we had a certain way we flowed with each other, and we didn't deal with the caddy and, the way I see these people behave now. We're not leaving out of the party without each other. We paying attention to each other's surroundings. Somebody is staying the sober person to make sure everybody else is monitored. So, it was a sister code, and we did have each other's backs, but that cattiness is there, even if it's not said. You're envious that this person's in a relationship or whatever. It may not even be said, but it's there. It's there.
Indeed.
So being self-reflective is the first step. Knowing that I'm a loud fucking mouth and I don't know when to shut up. Knowing that, being aware of it, you gotta kick back.
You should
kick back. But some people don't want to change. Some people thrive off that shit. It's kind of like a high. I'm waiting for somebody to pop off. So them people, they ain't willing to change. But people, if somebody tells you they're receiving you this way, you might want to reflect on that shit a little bit.
Absolutely.
Because everybody ain't gonna be that nice. Somebody might knock you out or run you over. I'm just saying. People are ruthless now. We are desensitized. So people are really hurting each other. These kids are offing their parents because they're not getting electronics. It's a wild world we live in. So,
Indeed.
Well,
I want to thank you for sticking it out with me tonight, Mrs. Harris. We can have a
nice short Sunday,
a
little cocktail,
tonight. Absolutely,
little intimacy.
Figure out something for you to do. I think I can get it figured out. I think about it for a little bit, but I think I can figure something out.
Me too.
Y'all let me know in the chat if y'all got any suggestions.
Any thoughts?
No, we joking.
Nope.
We got it covered. Yup.
We got it.
We got it. But yeah, it was fun, Mrs. Harris. You gonna be here Sunday or what? What's going on with you?
I'm not sure. I know I'm gonna be here tomorrow. Red Lipstick Vibes podcast is back on and popping.
Oh, it's smoke.
Yeah, it's smoke.
Is it smoky out there?
That was for the ladies. You better show up at lunchtime.
Is it smoky?
Sister code, breaking of the sister code is.
Y'all getting that femininity thing.
Yeah.
Ooh,
it's going down. So come on over.
The ladies in them's.
She saw something, and I want to see too. So.
Hey, ladies. I want to see.
Lunchtime, y'all pull up.
I'll be in the clouds.
Your little coffee, your tea, your smoothie, your cappuccino.
Watching y'all.
Your shot, whatever.
Okay, so you got plans for the weekend? Are you going to be here Sunday or what? Do you
I'm
have
not
anything?
sure.
Okay.
Might be a last minute thing.
Okay.
But we'll see.
Okay.
Because I think I'm supposed to be joining some ladies Sunday evening, so I don't want to spend too much time on the idiot box. You know how I do.
I got you. You still got stuff to do.
Gotta-
I get it.
I gotta use my time while absolutely,
I'm not mad at
absolutely.
you. I am not mad at you.
I got a little person. She can be like, I need some attention. I'm a big grown woman. I need some attention. You see this neck?
That's right. We got
Try
a
to
little
teach her
one.
to not
She's
do
8
that.
years old. That's right. And she's getting the most rearing in regards to just conscious behavior and mannerisms out of
It's
all
fun,
of them.
though.
It is. It's fun seeing how they get through that. I'll be here Saturday.
Yes.
I got something in the bag for y'all. Very cerebral, very thought-provoking. Hopefully start a good conversation. Intelligent people only, please. Yellers and screamers and profanity word users, please, stay on your side.
We like the neck rollers, though.
4-syllable word users, 5-syllable word users, please come through. Anyone who has read a thesaurus dictionary or anything similar, synonymous, come through.
I thought they
we
were
love
the
to
same.
have you. And do something good for somebody that's not you, man. Because doing something good for yourself is
help the old folks.
You do that all the time.
And I mean, if you're in line with an old folk and you see them struggling with some funds, help them out. I mean, that's one thing. I don't care what it is.
That's right.
You swipe your EBT card for them. Ask them, because some old people. No, I'm serious. Some old people don't like to be helped because I've offered and So you watch out for those ones because they'll kick you.
Look out for
the,
if they at the register,
elders, man.
That's
I've been seeing so many, because we here in Baltimore. I don't know. You people are not taking care of your elders.
Take care of your elders, have a willingness too. So
be more willing
at the
to
register. They right in the middle of checking out. It's a real, it's a
advocate
touchy
for them.
predicament. It's 50, 60 cents. It's not gonna stop your world.
$9, $10. But just if you got to check a cashier for being
why should
disrespectful.
We help people? Because
you don't have to.
Too. No, you don't.
You don't have to do shit.
Absolutely right.
We're just suggesting.
You don't have to.
That's all.
But you were a people.
You would want your mama to be helped if she needed it.
Maybe you were a people that needed help
or
at
not.
one time. So just paying it forward, and again, it's nothing life changing, or
it might be for them.
Something it could be, and we're not completely adverse to that if it'll help. But we do understand where you're coming from. We're not obligated, and we don't feel obligated. But we feel that we were at a time where we were unfortunate, and it wasn't strangers; it was more family that helped us.
There's some strangers that helped us out a
strange.
lot.
Okay,
we've had some strangers. That's why I say karma is something. You remember the man left for the military, lived upstairs. This man kept missing FedEx. FedEx was trying. This is before cell phones really came out because we didn't own any. So this man worked for the military and he kept missing FedEx in the apartment that we lived in. And it was probably the third time FedEx came. And I said, well, leave it with me. I don't know him. Leave him with me. And when he comes home, I'll make sure he gets it. And he was not supposed to do that. But I made sure the man get his phone. So maybe like a month later, they sent him off tour and he had just went food shopping. He came down and knocked on my door and said, listen, I got to leave. And I just bought a whole bunch of food up there. And I wanted to know if you and your family would have it. And I was so happy because we were struggling. We was fucking struggling. And it was a lot of food. All the stuff we ate too. I was like, yeah, he didn't play. So, blessings come in some surprise packages sometimes.
But we understand your point, E-Man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he said, my mother was my responsibility, not the world. Absolutely. Understandable.
But you would want to, I think just knowing that, I'm kind to elders. It is not to say that there's a guarantee that people are going to be kind to my mother or, but that's just, that's the kind of grandmother I grew up with.
And another thing is that we're not from Baltimore, E-Man.
Right.
So living here in Baltimore, we want to be people that give to the community that we came. We don't want to be looked at as people that just came to take away from a community,
become successful
and
leave.
Come here, you get our employment, you make money, and so on and so forth. Start your business and build your trajectory, and then do whatever in the future. So whenever we can, we have a nonprofit organization. We do book bag drives. We do, all types of workshops, mentoring, and all type of things to give back. And just, again, if we at the register and we see somebody struggling and it's only $1, $5, something that's not life changing, it's really not a problem for us to pay that forward.
I just been seeing it more than not.
It has
lately.
been happening more with the the inflation of food and things going up.
I don't realize how much it is.
It's definitely going on out here, and in Baltimore, it's a unique collective.
It is.
It's a unique.
It's sad.
Hopefulness.
I mean, it's sad
in terms of aspiration and inspiration. Just nice people and kindness. And this is an amazing city. It's just lacking
some great people.
some tender love and care right now. And the people are really starting to lash out, and you hear the arguments, the cell phone talks. The missus, usually call me almost every day with, somebody's outside, they're a little upset, trying to explain to Madison that's just things that people process, and sometimes they yell and scream.
It's pretty quiet in here, so if you hear somebody popping off, you're gonna hear it. it's like, what's going on?
Baltimore is definitely a unique city for us to live in, and what we're seeing based on where we were before we came here. So we just try to give back a little bit and be the change that we want to see. But we definitely understand you, E-Man. It's not our obligation at all.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate you, Mrs., for helping out when you can.
I have to.
And truth, it is. It's insensitive. The young people, the insensitive violence, the unnecessary violence that takes the lives and hurts innocent bystanders and little kids, elderly. It's in abundance here. And it's hard to get to school. It's hard to get to work without, the nonsense. And I don't think we've had one car that hasn't been hit and ran.
Right.
Like, we've never been that type of family to even use our insurance for years, 20, 30 years. We go without talking to them. But when we moved here, it was nonstop. We were on like our third car being here.
Yeah.
And it's not our fault. They sitting in front of our house. We're not doing anything, and we got to go and get another one. So this city, this state is very sporadic.
I mean, and they do a lot of voting, and you have a lot of Black people running things, but it's not coming down to the community. Like you said, they're really not doing what we want them to do.
Yeah.
So we got to shake a leg. You might have to go knock on some doors.
We do.
Send some
We gotta be the
emails.
change
They got to
we
be
wanna
in
see.
black and white.
So, we
Always
out
say.
here.
So
But
it
shout
will
out to
be.
everybody that chimed in with us this week. And we will be here this weekend to check you out.
Nice, great short Thursday.
And we will see y'all next week with another amazing content creator.
Yes.
Make sure y'all hit the notification bell so y'all don't miss us. And
Have a good Friday.
Have an amazing
Have a great weekend. We see y'all soon.
Everything in creation and in physical form has its own fundamental resonant frequencies. Everything in creation and in physical form has its own fundamental resonant frequencies.